like a ripe lime. And she mighty fine, so let's move it. And we get it two-stepping like we three-footed. Got me feeling like I'm in my new prime. Let's get it all right, all right. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. Have some fun. Have some fun tonight. Some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. Have some fun. Have some fun tonight.
You want clout, don't do that. This real life, sis, try to keep track. Share for share without a penny to spare. Tryna copy me, don't do that over here. Those living up to the sky, they wanna go to heaven. How many cars did I buy? I think I got 11. This a black car, gotta run it up. And I walk it like I talk it, and I'm taking off. And no, I don't want your man, but your man is a fan. Better watch what you say, cause you know I don't play. Talking like you do not know what's up. Talking like you want me to call my bluff. I can make one call, call my bluff. I can make one call, try me up. Talking like you do not know what's up. Talking like you want me to call my bluff. I can make one call, call my bluff. I can make one call, try me up. Now I just touched down, send me the address. Wire the funds, shoot me the cash app. I'm not coming unless it's paid in full. You know the code, you know the rules. I told them, bitch, better have my money. Sad, I'm not bluffing, ain't no capping, that's a fact. Can't believe I gotta mingle with these crabs. Never had to fight a drip, no, get slapped. And no, I don't want your man, but your man is a fan. Better watch what you say, cause you know I don't play. Talking like you do not know what's up. Talking like you want me to call my bluff. I can make one call, call my bluff. I can make one call, try me up. Talking like you do not know what's up. Talking like you want me to call my bluff. I can make one call, call my bluff. I can make one call, try me up.
All right, we're live between two halves, episode number 3. Thank you again for joining us. Today we're gonna talk to Issey Nakajima, former Pahang and Terengganu player. Last season he was with Pacific FC. It's a free agent now, so anyone here in Malaysia or Southeast Asia who's listening wants to rope him in for the next season, he's more than happy to travel all the way. The topic for today is what's the best club direction should be? Should we just be more in tune into getting quick results, or should we have a more sustainable kind of plan for our football club? This is good. This is a good topic, not just for new amateur clubs who plans to go on semi-pro or pro football one day, but it is also for existing professional football clubs who probably need a sustainable plan. We've seen a lot of professional clubs nowadays, especially throughout the pandemic episodes, COVID-19 episode. It seems that they have a lot of problems sustaining those kind of crises. Financially, professional clubs are not very strong in Malaysia, in Southeast Asia as a whole, but we've also seen it outside of Malaysia. So hence, that's why we're having this topic. And Issey is the best candidate because he's been playing football around the world. So Issey,
Yes.
mate, so tell me,
Thanks for having me.
tell me about your travels around the world, your football experience around the world, because that's the thing that is of value to us.
Well, how long's this show? Because that's a long story.
It's an extended version, mate. We normally have it for 15 minutes, but it's an extended
All right.
version because we know it's you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more than 15 minutes to explain all that. First of all,
Or just
I would like
just
to
tell us,
explain
just tell us like
Isaiah.
how many
I never
how
really
many
did.
continents you've been to.
I think it's 4 continents. Yeah, 4 continents, 10 countries. And this is not just like go there and play one game. No, this is like, really. No, so that's right. It is go there, one game or a season, and I think that rounds up to like 10 countries. So that starts off with I started off in England, not professionally, playing for Crystal Palace, junior level, kids level. I grew up in Tokyo, joined Tokyo Verity at the time, which was the Giants back then. And then I went to, where did I go to? I went to Albirex Niigata in Japan, in the J League. As an 18-year-old, got sent to Singapore to gain more experience because reserve games were only 14 games. So I played more, I got more games. I was supposed to score more goals, etc. And then I have a chance to go back to Japan. Japan, I got Young Player of the Year award. I thought, okay, I accomplished what the Japanese club wanted me or the young players to do. So then, but they wanted me to stay one more year, and I pretty much accomplished whatever I could potentially accomplish. So that's when Kim Poulsen, a Danish guy, was a young Lions coach who took me to Denmark. I had 6 great years there. Peak of my career playing UEFA Cup. I was playing every game for Canada, starting lineup, everything. All attention was on me wherever I went to. And then I got sick of the cold. And by 27, 28, I thought, okay, I'm at my peak now. If I can't play Champions League, I'm tired of being blue-toed because it's so cold. So that's when somebody talked to me about playing in Australia, and I always wanted to see the language of football. We all speak the same language of football. It doesn't matter what language, but we speak football. So
Yeah.
that really interested me, and I really wanted to try to see the world that way, which was a very different concept to. I think a lot of dreams revolves around the World Cup and Champions League. But I set a target. I was like, at 28, if I'm not in that target, I'm gonna head back to. I'm gonna travel the world and see the football, right? So I went to Australia, and then I went to Cyprus. But I went back to Cyprus because there was a chance to play in the UEFA Cup. But then there was a different crisis, so I got to experience a whole lot of like big economic crisis of like really shady stuff, the dark stuff of football that people don't talk about. I got to see that. I wasn't part of it, but I got to see it, which was really disgusting. And I'm talking about match fixing.
Maybe we should talk about that.
it's not something yeah, but it's like just to see that, just see your teammates or the guys you're playing against, you're like, what the hell? I still remember one of the guys saying to me, halftime, I'm still like celebrating like crazy. I'm like, yeah, second goal, let's go. And they're saying, one of the guys said, he said, relax, you're supposed to lose by 2 goals. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's disgusting, man. Like, I'm busting my balls, I'm working up and down, and you guys are like, so I had to get out of there. It was disgusting. It's not something we were supposed to talk about, but it is what it is, and people were doing whatever to survive. So, whatever. I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay.
Plus, I don't know much either. It was just speculation. So before anybody started pointing fingers, let's just
What
say
made
it was
you
speculation.
say? What made you came
Yeah.
to Malaysia?
Well, I went back to Canada first before Malaysia because playing international for Canada and Canada not having a league, and they were part of MLS, right? So the idea was always to come back. A few clubs was always asking me to come back while I was playing in Denmark, and playing European football, playing in a country where football is the number one thing, is really it's what feels good. It's like even playing in Malaysia, football is the main sport. It feels so good to be a footballer in places like that. If you're in America, you're playing the fifth sport. Like no one really cares. It's all about the American football or the basketball or whatever sport. And then on the newspaper, somewhere tiny, will say something about soccer. So I didn't really enjoy that, but that's why I really enjoy playing in a country where football means a lot to people. Like football means everything to them. Like Denmark, like in these European countries, like even Cyprus, it's all about football. Wherever you go, people talk about football. It makes their weekend. They look up, they work all week just to go watch that game, feel good about themselves with that scarf, with your home support, whatnot. And I love feeling that passion because I'm equal to that passion while playing. Which was different to playing in Singapore, for example, where everybody's just betting on you, So that's when I was like, I want to feel the passion fans rather than, because I tell the story to all the guys, like I scored after 15 minutes, I jump in the crowd, everybody's loving me, I'm like, yeah, well, 15 minutes later, I scored the exact same goal, I ran to the same crowds, but now it's like, if you laugh, newspaper, pens, beers in my face. And I was like, what the hell? Like 2 minutes ago, you guys were all loving me. Now you're just all hating me. And I remember like taxi drivers like, hey, you say, yeah, you la, well, you missed that chance, la, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's still betting, So I was like, well, okay, it's a different kind of passion. I want more passion about our club means everything, our line of footballers to the, that sort of history means more to me, I guess. Anyway, what was your question? It was totally off topic.
My question was like, what made you move to Malaysia? I mean, like, and you've been here for more than 3-4 seasons, I think.
Yeah, I think I was there 4 seasons. 2.5, 3.5. I think Terengganu, 1 in Pahang. In my 30s. So yeah, why did I come to Malaysia? Well, Canada has a different problem. You're talking about the fundamentals of like the foundation of the leagues and the clubs, etc. Well, that's what Canada's building over here, except for what MLS has done, and MLS is now currently I believe the revenue making or the profits as a league is far greater than any league around the world. That's because their structure, their foundation, everything is revolves around sponsors, and it's not just ticket sales like what Malaysia is depending on, or even government funding. It's like European. I think nowhere is all government funding. It's all like businesses, companies, sponsors, and your own marketing ability, because football is the best business in the world. All the eyeballs that you attract, all the attention that you attract through the game, that's no other business, no other business would have that sort of passion or foundation, right? And that is the most important thing to actually have a good business. So it's interesting that you guys are talking about this because, yeah, so MLS has created this thing where they've structured it so well that no other European leagues can compete as a league. Of course, yeah, you're talking about
Would you
Real Madrid,
would you
Barcelona.
were
Sorry?
you surprised when you came to Malaysia and found out that some of the clubs didn't even have a marketing department, or
Yeah,
were not
that's
really
why
concerned
I
about
was,
marketing and commercial works?
yeah, because I mean, like for example, a club I played in Denmark was FC Nordsjælland in Copenhagen. Is one of the young teams there, and I think it was only established back in like late '90s or something. But by the time I was there, we were in UEFA Cup and Champions League. I left the year before they went Champions League. I hate myself for that. That's the one thing I regret. Anyway, but as a
Let's not
club
go
to
there.
reach that, no, let's not talk about that. I hate myself. So anyway, um, so so what was I? Yeah, so to establish yourself from the ground up and then to play at the top European level and see a small club like that really build themselves with the local support, local companies, no government funding, no handouts. Um, and then playing in Juventus or playing against Chelsea. I mean that's what it was, and selling those players on to whatever leagues. I mean the whole structure was amazing. That's you got to get I wouldn't say lucky, but you got to have the right foundation because it was all young players. I was a foreigner, but I was also a young player back then. So they only have old guys, but everybody was really coming from the youth because the youth setup was perfect. They studied everything, what they did in Spain, Italy, all those teams. Sorry, Mike.
How did they have a fan base? Because there's this notion that in order for clubs to be sustainable, right, that you need a very
Yeah,
strong fan base. And in order for you to
yeah,
have a strong base, it's important for that club to keep on winning and winning and winning, right? Because if they
yeah.
don't
So
win, fans tend to leave the club or not support the club
yeah,
anymore. And nowadays, right, you have, especially in countries like in Canada or America, where you have other sports like the NFL, ice hockey and
yeah,
basketball, supporters can just, if you're not winning, supporters just can throw in their, jerseys and then just support some other sporting
yeah,
association.
yeah.
So how does
Yeah, I mean,
clubs survive? Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. So I'm gonna have to go back to what you said about Malaysia because I came to Malaysia
Yeah.
because I thought it was gonna be like Singapore. I had no idea what I was walking into. But as I saw what Terengganu was, I loved it there because there was just so much potential. Because the hardest thing is to have a big stadium. So it's so hard to have the
Yeah.
fan base, and it's
Yeah.
so hard to have the money. And you have those
Yeah.
three things, yet you're not thriving. Like I was like, it doesn't. It didn't make any sense to me. You had the three hardest things to gain, yet business wise, there was nothing. It was absolutely nothing. So I was like, you guys are missing out on all this business from a club perspective, from a sponsor's perspective, and it's just all just handouts from the government. Okay, we'll still get that handout, but start to do the business side of football, which is obviously the best. It's the best business in the world. So why wouldn't you play with that? That's why I loved Malaysia because I was like, wow, I've seen so much, yet you guys have absolutely no idea, absolutely no idea. Because, and yeah, I really boldly say that because they're not using any. Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I saw there's zero marketing, there's zero
Yeah.
sponsorship, yet you have
I
a 40,
agree.
50,000 stadium that you actually fill. Yet, yeah, it's like, wow, where have you guys been all these years? You've been playing football only in Malaysia. You haven't seen what everybody else does. These leagues that are actually thriving and making a very, very good business model like MLS or any club, European clubs. So like FC Nordsjælland, yeah, in Copenhagen, there was FC Copenhagen, whose majority of the fans are with. Then there are Brøndby, which is the second biggest club there, and then FC Nordsjælland. So Nordsjælland had to change instead of winning over the fans. It was more about we are all about the young players. We're all about developing and having a certain style of football, which was tiki taka, which was possession game. Because if any footballer would say, "Yeah, I'd rather attack than defend," Maybe I just say that because I'm an attacker. But football is boring if I have to just keep chasing and pressuring and keeping in shape. You know, I rather have the ball and have my teammates have the ball, and you know. So we had this style of football which was very tiki taka, like the days that I was in Terengganu. No long balls. Even at Brisbane Roar when I was there in Australia, with Ange Postecoglou, everything for him was like no goal kicks. It was a goal pass. A goalkeeper has to pass sideways. So everything was a build up in a certain perspective, shape, and tactically, all movements were precise. Like all movements were precise. We practiced that every single day, even for warm up. Everything was like a shadow movement. Anyway, he moved on to being an Australian international coach. He was in the World Cup, and then went to now he's at Yokohama Marinos. Just won the J League, you know, and he kept the same ways because
Style
the
of
Japanese
football.
players that I know, were telling me that this is the kind of style he's playing. But again, to do that is not just 1 year. So yeah, it answers your question that if you're gonna put in a faith in a
Takes time.
coach or any foreigner player, you gotta really commit to it. A commitment is not just like 4 games or 5 games, or let's get this foreigner out or get this coach out. Yes, I still believe coach is the first one to go, but if you truly believe in his tactics and philosophy, which I do understand, the coaches or the football that I saw in some parts of Malaysia, some parts of other countries as well, is really basic football. It's long ball, you and you and you and play, and that is our tactic. You know, I mean, this is a classic one. Ifran, okay, I don't want to say any names, but I'm sorry, Ifran, that was his tactic. That was just his way. He's very old school, and again, it worked. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to say this because I don't like to say anything bad about people, but tactics, like, okay, if you did something really well, like for me, Ange Postecoglou, he was an amazing. He's just, I didn't get along with him at the end because I had too much of an ego coming from Europe, and I was like, no, football is freestyle, blah blah. But now that I see how my career went, I do truly understand that was tactically. We didn't have any superstars. You know, there's big superstars in Sydney FC, Melbourne, all these things, but we were the champions, and we dominated that league. 36 unbeaten run, like no other teams in different sports. Nobody's accomplished that. But the first year, so my point is, the first year, he didn't get that. You know, to really grind in this whole system, and if anybody went against the system, was out. So every winger had to go inside, every midfielder had to go into fullback. It was the clockwork that everybody, if one person didn't do it, then even though we won 4-0, you'd be like, Issey, see that movement? We don't want that. If you don't want to do that, get out. I was like, okay, coach, I'll do the movement. So it was all super clockwork, but it works. On the last third, it was not even crosses. Like, we were not allowed to do crosses. It had to be a pass and a goal. And yes, games were just dominated because there was a certain style, certain tactic that we had to play to exactly how he pictured our attack. So it's not just you guys do whatever you want.
It seems to me that what you're saying is that I think for a sustainable club to exist, there's a need for a long-term commitment from the management, right? The coaches, for them to be able to allow the coaches to develop their football DNA, and to get the whole thing, to hold the players accustomed to it. But in Malaysia, I find that a lot of these managements are not able to commit to a long-term plan because the fans are unforgiving, right? The fans want quick results, right? And I think that's similar across to a lot of clubs that you've been to. But my question is how do these clubs manage the expectation of their fans?
That's marketing, is it not? Well, I mean, how else would you put that message across? Like, okay, so Ange Postecoglou in the first year, so the first year that he came, they just escaped relegation. And then the following year, you're champions. Yokohama Marinos, exactly the same. The first year, they were just at the bottom of the table. The following year, they're champions. And this is what this guy really grinds in and tells people, tells the management that this is my philosophy. The first year is not going to work, but the player, every single day I'm going to grind in that philosophy, the clockwork structure, how he wants the game to be played, and then he'll add at least 3 or 4 or 5 players that's going to help in that system. There's going to be one player that's going to be a number 10 who's going to be this magician basically, but everybody else is a hardworking structure player, which I was that hardworking player.
So in Brisbane and Yokohama Marinos, you're saying that these clubs have a very good communication and marketing and fan engagement to make the fans understand that this is not a short-term commitment that they need to make.
Yeah.
They'll be losing maybe initially, but then again by the second year they're going to start winning silverware. That's the kind of communication they've been sending out to the fans.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things you have to say to the fans is that nothing ever great was built in one day. Everybody says, yeah, Rome wasn't built in one day, whatever, like these are, you got to keep just punching in that. I mean, that's what CPL is doing right now, Canadian Premier League. Everything is about the World Cup coming in 2026, 6.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 6.
I don't even know what year it is anymore. I don't even know what month it is right now. With the coronavirus, like I don't even know what day it is anymore. Like every day is just so. Anyway, so I think it's 2026, right? So the whole reminder of the league is about it's the youth players. It's some games might be boring, some games might be really just youth level football, but please understand, people, we're trying to build something here. We're trying to build towards the World Cup. We want to see 2, 3, 4 players from this league to actually be playing in that World Cup. They are stressing that fact. So fans become more forgiving.
Is it easier to speak to fans, for example, in Australia or Japan or in Denmark, compared to fans here in Malaysia? Do you think fans in Malaysia are less unforgiving in comparison to those other fans that you've seen before?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Pahang was kind of harsh at times. I think some guys have left Pahang because they were so. I mean, it's not just me, but like recent players too. Fans are great, but also very unforgiving as well. And
is that what Matt told you? That's why he left for JDT.
I'm not talking about Matt, man. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. No, but he's a really good player. Well, he became a very experienced player. He went there with not a lot of experience, but he became such a big character. To be the youngest FA Cup winner. His personality is not. His character is not a young player. He's a very mature player. I always felt I'm more immature than he was. So. But he's got that very captain character. He's got that just maturity about him, and that's why he's being given the captain band. He's seen in that light, and yeah, the guy is doing really well with Malaysia, and obviously we'll see how he does with JDT. But of course, there's no doubts, absolutely no doubts, he's going to do amazing things. But that's Matt.
Back to the fans. So Pahang fans are a lot more harsh, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that when I was there. I saw a hashtag of Issey out. So I was like, dude, I've played 2 games. I haven't played a game in 4 or 5 months. Like, relax, people, kind of thing. And then I started to prove myself. So in the end, I scored 7 goals or something in 14 games, or for the half season that I was there.
Yeah.
So of course, my performance got that hashtag out. But if I did so well at Terengganu, and then they really have only 2 games, and then you say, "Oh, get this guy out of here." I'm like, I got some cobwebs in my lungs. Let me get my joints all working again, and I started to get the flow. I started scoring. I don't know these players. Like, I keep making everything that I was making a diagonal run. I had a guy like Gustavo who would be chipping the ball, or Ismail Faruqi, who would just like be looking this way, through pass to me, because they know my run, right? And it takes 6 months for players to actually gel together. So these are the things that our fans don't know about. Fans just think, oh, what was the score? Okay, well, football is not about just what was the score. It's a whole 90-minute story. And it's not just a 90-minute story. It was your whole 1 week, 2 weeks training put into that story is how you prepare for that game. So these things take time. It's not just a player adapting to that country, but it's also players adapting to each other. And I remember in Pahang, I keep making these diagonal runs and I'm not offside. Even the defenders have not picked me up. But also my teammates are not even picking me up. So I'm like just running and just kind of waving my hand. And then, okay, turn around, let's try that again. But for me, it was a repetition of doing that until my teammates start to understand what I like to do on the pitch. So once they start to understand that, I was making runs, I was scoring goals. People started to be a little bit different towards me back then. But that was my sales point in Europe. That was my sales point as a winger, actually scoring goals. I wasn't a striker. I was always a winger that was scoring goals. So that's how I always moved around countries, because they were like, yeah, we have a guy that can make a little bit through passes. Everybody's coming to feet. You say you go into space. We need a guy like you on the side. So that's how I moved around. But yeah, I think fans need to understand the game, really. Let's scratch that. I did not say that. Fans need to understand the concept that your teammates are trying to build, or the club or the coach is trying to build. You know, is it tiki-taka? Is it possession game? Is it full force game? Is it a defensive game? But every game should be different. And if a player cannot see what the coach's intention is, well, then now your message is not loud enough. Every time Mourinho makes a change, every time Mourinho does his tactics, every person watching TV or watching the game, he knows exactly what Mourinho is trying to do, right? That makes Mourinho a very good coach, because it's so evident. Now's the time to make a change. Okay, they score one goal, take the striker off, put the defender on. It's never a like for like, oh, let's take that striker off, put this striker off. Take that midfielder off because he's having a shocking game. Let's put this guy on. Okay, well, that's just exactly the same tactic. That's just like changing a character. No, you got to change tactics. That's what we're talking about here. So if fans can understand that, I think, and that's all marketing, right? At the end of the day, that's all marketing, and marketing is everything. Marketing is going to tell the story of what the club is trying to do, whether it's the young players coming through, whether it's we're not trying to win the league this year, we're going to try and win the league next year. But we're going to build a crazy foundation, the academy, the kids that are going to be coming through. And these kids, there will be 1 or 2 or 3 players like Terengganu. Terengganu has so many young players. Some of these players will feature the following year, right? How many times do you see that with like Real Madrid or any of these big leagues? You see these like 18, 19-year-olds coming through and actually doing really well. That's because 2 years they've been prepared for this moment. You only see that moment, but you didn't see the preparation for that. Some of these other younger leagues don't have that. Even in Canada, we don't have that yet. There's no youth league just yet. They're building that right now, because right now the professional league just started, like last year, just started. So with that professional league, now we've got what the kids look up to. I mean, like the North American kids, all they know is MLS. They're like MLS, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, all these big players, like Rooney was here. You know, they see that as like such a big league now. And all these kids, they don't know about Europe. All they see is MLS. But eventually, CPL will be the same. And Malaysia is exactly the same, right? But you need a really, just a structure of like, not just like 1 year. We have, what was it, like 40 million, whatever, like Terengganu had that year, or some of these years that I got to find out how much money they actually had. And all that just evaporates. Yet there's no structure in the business. I was like, where was that money spent? And I'm just like, I know that didn't come to me. And everybody's looking at me and like, you're the foreign player. I'm like, no, that's not me. You know? So, but it's marketing. We've really got to tell that story of what the club is trying to do here. You know, it's not just like, we're going to win Sunday. Yeah, that's all we care about. No, it's not about this Sunday. It's about that next year Sunday that we really want to dominate. And that's what I truly respect what JDT has done, because they had some experienced guys come in from Germany and tell it like how it was. You can't keep going on like this, just gambling on each year. Football is not a gamble. it's truly a foundation. I mean, and I also believe you make your own luck. It's not just, oh, we were unlucky today. No, man, if you prepared everything that you could possibly do, eliminate all excuses, that's success. So
Yeah.
that's exactly what they've done. They have a training facility where there's absolutely zero excuse for any injuries or any. You prepare for absolute battle every single day. This is the standard we set. So the club sets the standard. The players naturally follow. Professionalism, everything. Professionalism doesn't come just from players. It comes from the club first to set a standard. Like, this is the facility. This is the diet that we expect you guys to have. If you can control at least 1 or 2 meals a day. So majority of the teams I went to, we had breakfast together, and then we trained, then we had lunch together. Now you might have a gym session or whatever session in the afternoon, probably only once a week or twice a week, depending on the season, during the season. But eventually you go home and you have a nice dinner with your wife or your girlfriend, whatever, family. So the club can actually they know their investment, the money that they're spending on this player, he's looking after himself because we're looking after him. The clubs in Malaysia are just like, here's money, go get KFC. And then say, you're not professional. Well, you can't point fingers saying you're not professional because he's eating fried chicken. I mean, the clubs that I was there also provided fried chicken before a game. And I'm thinking, this is absolutely mind-blowing. You don't serve fried chicken for a pre-match meal. I mean, I've never seen that in my 17-year career at that time, 13, 14. But little things like that. And guys are throwing up before games. And I'm thinking, no wonder you're throwing up before games, man. It's not because you're nervous. It's that fried chicken. Right? But,
All right. Okay.
But you don't get
So
the
your
education.
point is. So your point is that there's a need for more marketing and communication to educate the fans, right? To be a bit more forgiving, especially the first few seasons when the club is just trying to develop its DNA and its structure, right?
But I mean,
and also the club.
Go
ahead.
Like JDT, they've set the standard, and now Selangor, look at their facility. It's amazing, you know. Now Selangor is matching up to the new standard that's been set. If you want to be a champion, you gotta train like a champion, and you gotta prepare like a champion. JDT is doing exactly that. It might be a little bit over the top. Well, who's to say? Because if money's not an issue, if fans not an issue, and stadium's not an issue, well, now, you know, sky's the limit. And now they're actually competing in Asian Champions League and really making a statement as Malaysian football. So really, hats off to the Premier. Yeah, I hate saying soccer, but people here call it soccer. I'm like, it's not soccer, man. We use our feet. It's football. Because I keep saying football. They're like, you mean soccer? I'm like, soccer? Oh yeah, soccer. Yeah, whatever, soccer. Nobody calls it soccer. But again, Japanese people call it soccer too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I get I do get it. I think it's about I agree with you that we don't have any problem here when it comes to funding because of the state handouts, right? State funding, in average here, probably 20 to 30 million in average. So you're saying that there should be a significant amount of spending on marketing and communication, especially to get the fans to be a bit more appeased or to be more tuned in with the plan, right? Only then, the club can be free from this stress and pressure from having to continuously win all the time.
And invest in the club, right? I was in Terengganu. My changing room was my car. Did I say that? But it's true. Fans can see me. I'm like, do you mind? Can I get some privacy here? I'm trying to, put my shorts on. I'm butt naked with a towel, changing in my car because we did not have a changing room. How old is Terengganu Football Club?
I'm not really sure, but it must be really, really old. Maybe before the country even attained its independence.
What about Pahang?
Same thing for Pahang. Yeah.
All right.
The same
it's
thing.
A very well established football club, right?
Yeah.
Do you know where Pahang trains?
I know where Pahang trains, man.
Okay, so if any
It's
fan,
like
any fan can come watch me. No, but this needs to be said because I'm not trying to diss anybody, diss any club. I'm just trying to say what it is, okay? And
yeah,
I love Malaysia for what it is, and I love the people. I love the everybody knows that I love Malaysia. Everybody knows that. But if I were to
and the
say,
people.
okay, in Terengganu, we had no changing room. Well, when I was there, we didn't have an ice bath. These are the little basics of after training, the professionalism, what you expect from your players to look after the body. The pitch was not looked after. There's like grass like this. Okay, sorry, my screen's not long enough to show you how long the grass was on some parts of the pitch. And our beloved Tengu, we were training in his backyard. Basically, we didn't have any change room. Again, fans will come and see, and we're showering with a hose. Like guys in Europe would not believe me when I told them, like, really, Pahang, we're a royal family team. We don't have showers. We have a tap with a hose that we share for two. It's like, yeah, but you guys only get like with decent salary for Asian football. I'm like, yeah, salary is good, but again, it's not just Pahang, it's not just Terengganu. It's majority of the foreigners I got to meet all saying the same thing. It's like this is unbelievable. Wages are this high, so again, the money just evaporates into whatever wages. Nothing goes back in or invested into the club to actually make professionalism. And I'm not just talking about, I mean, shower is not professionalism, but having ice bath, having proper physiotherapy, having even a little gym area that players can exercise certain things before and after training to be
Sound
more injury free or these kind of things. But again, Pahang facility is parking lot. There's a bench, and people can see us get changed. And the hole is where we take shower, where everybody can see us. And yet we have a beautiful stadium, a huge stadium that does get filled. Yet again, training facility, and you have to understand this concept that what you do on the training pitch is what you do in the game. It's how you prepare yourself. One thing is how you prepare. Is it what? Sorry, we always say the way you do one thing here is the way you do everything, right? So if
yeah.
you're unorganized in this way, you're unorganized on the pitch. If you're no organization or tactical whatever, that's what you're providing in game day, for example. And it's these small
Yeah, based
details
based
that
based on the
yeah,
accounts, right? Like I mean, like what I know of, I've never really seen the accounts of any of our football clubs here in Malaysia, but it is well known that 80 to 90% of revenue that is made um, from these clubs or by these clubs are spent on players' salary. 80 to 90% on player salary. You say,
oh, I'm not surprised.
and that's probably why there's a lack of investment on these facilities. Are you are you in agreement if I say that players are being paid too much?
Um, yes and no. So I agree to disagree, or disagree to agree. I don't know which one, but basically, yeah, I think
Were
if you want
you?
good players, well, no, because I like the players also because you know, um, beautiful quote from would be good players are not cheap and cheap players are not good. I do believe that too. But
Okay.
so that's not really the problem here because if you're getting a certain lump of handout from a royal family or official or the state, whatever, some portion of this, at least 30-40% back into the club, rebuilding or building a sustainable system, right? So
Very
work with
agree.
whatever budget. Don't just say, okay, I'm gonna. We just went from I don't know $20,000 whatever for to get a foreigner. Now this year's budget is only 5,000. Okay, well now the fans are gonna be super angry why you didn't keep that and just go to a cheaper foreigner with less experience and I don't know less quality because cheap players not good, good players not cheap. So, but you don't have to make this huge cut every year. You have to be just building that little bit of foundation, whether it's sponsors, whether it's the right marketing to have the right image or the right, um, yeah, just to bring in the right young players. You don't have to suddenly give them a whole bunch of money So now the young player is coming in with a brand new Mercedes. I mean, I saw that in Terengganu too. I'm like, no, young player, you need to keep grinding because you haven't, you technically made it. So well done to you. Really, congrats. But the hard work is from now. There's a lot of professional footballers. I've seen a lot of professional footballers. They're young players. They have 2-3 years. They're done because getting a decent salary at a young age, you get to a point where you think, oh, my friends think I've made it. I'm a big timer. Okay, well, that mental state is dangerous because you're not going to last. You know, the average is up to 30 as a footballer, but there's so many younger players that don't make past 25. And is that wages?
Okay.
Well, that's also the message that the club is giving you, you know? So is the facilities ready for you to really train your ass off and really be somebody? Right? So
What do players expect more? Do they expect better wages, or they expect better facilities, or is it different from different players with a different age?
yeah,
Younger
it's a
players
different
would
age.
expect better facilities.
Yeah, because
How
in
is it?
your early 20s, you shouldn't be chasing the money. You should be chasing the facility or the club status that is going to better you as a footballer. After, I would say, late 20s, 30s, yeah, now you start thinking about money, thinking about your family, how you're going to look after them for the rest of your life because you have zero education, like myself. So all you know is football. So you're going to have to, look after your family. So you want the best salary possible, of course. You know, you got to look after yourself. But early 20s, really think about the ladder because wherever you end up is you're gonna slowly go down from there. So really just build as much as you can in yourself, invest in yourself, whether the club is going to help you with diet, whether gym, all these injury prevention, all those things, because football can just end just like that with a big injury, you're done. How many players have you seen that?
Okay.
So many.
All right, mate. We're at the end of the show now. I
Oh
got
man,
one
I'm
last
thinking about.
question. Yeah, we'll do part
Yeah,
two. We'll do part two, and
yeah.
we'll talk about your experience at Cyprus.
No man, do this every week.
All right, dude. Here's the thing. I just want to ask you, what's your plan? Are you open to the prospect of coming back to Malaysia, playing at at our professional league? Maybe Liga Perdana,
Yeah.
Division 2 or Division 3. Are
Well, I
you
mean,
open
give it a
to play
notice.
for a futsal club here, man?
Well, let me say for one thing, I signed a PDRM last year, right? I signed the paper, took a photo with the coach. They're like, "Yeah, you're in." I'm like, "Yes, coach. I'm so excited." And then next day they're like, "No, cancel. Like this is not happening. We want a tall striker because we want the big wow factor." You say you don't have the wow factor. I'm like, and then I think they brought in a whatever striker. I believe he got fired after 6 months. So I don't know. I wanted to stay in Malaysia, you know, but then this came up saying, yeah, he said help with the mentoring these younger players and whatnot. Anyway, I'm really going off topic, but right now I'm trying to create an app that's more for individual players to better themselves as a professional player or a 10-year-old or a 14-year-old. It's not just making it pro. It's not just training with your team. It's all the things that you do by yourself. It's all the things you do behind what you do in the shadows when people are not watching. You know, like you see great professionals like Lee Tuck, for example. I throw him in here because he does a lot of decent training that Malaysian people I think do see that. You know, the extra trainings that he does himself. This is the basics. He's not special. He's not a guy that's like, wow. No, you have to have that as a. That is what you need to do, and I think a lot of players that last do that and that. So I'm trying to create an app where it's not just for guys like himself, but it's also for to put the state for younger players. It's like not just playing for your team, buddy. It's also all that training you do by yourself. And I had a really good mentor, which was my father, who at 10 years old taught me that lesson, which was. Do we have time for this? This is a long story. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So I went for trials at 98, I think, at Tokyo Verdy. There was like, I don't know, 600 whatever kids. I made it to the last three, and then I got to train with the junior team for a week. I did great until they sent me a brown envelope saying, "Thank you, Issey." Sorry, there was a letter inside. So the letter said, "Thank you, Issey. You've done great, but we're going to take Tamano Jun, he went to Atletico Madrid after that." So anyway, great player, same age as me. He played with Torres and everything, whatever. They took him, and I wanted to just pretty much, after 8 years of my life, I thought, okay, my life is over. Like, I never want to touch a ball again. I can't believe how crap I feel about myself. I never want to do anything regarding football. And so I cried for about a week, and then my dad was like, well, there's another one 6 months down the road, another trial. And if you truly want to be a footballer or achieve anything in life, you're going to have to, for this sport, you're going to have to get up before school at whatever, 6 o'clock in the morning. We're going to go train for 1 hour, work on your technique, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to go to school, then you're going to your club. I'm not saying kids should do that, but I'm saying that's what it took for me, because I had a father that was throwing the ball. Okay, not everybody has like that, but you have a wall. Like, not every day my father was there. I can just use a wall. If I have to go to 7-Eleven to go buy something for my mom because she wants more eggs, I'll take the football with me and do the keep ups all the way and see if I can actually keep it up all the way there and all the way back, for example. You know, just always touching the ball, always training. And that was the lesson that I was taught. And then following, 6 months later, I made it to the top 3 again. I made it pro. And that was the lesson that I learned early, that you really have to work harder than anybody else. So I want to create this app that kind of says, do these drills. It's not about how many team trainings you do, how many teams you play for, because some young players like myself had to play for 4 or 5 teams just so I can play football every day, right? So it's all about the trainings individually, whether it's injury prevention, all this stuff. So I'm trying to put all this whatever video content together with my friends in Malaysia to and use all and just go global with all the footballers I know, basically. So
when is this app going to be launched?
That's the big question. It depends on my friends in Malaysia, who I hope they're watching.
How much work have you put into it? Like, I mean, like, is it 80% complete? You know?
Dude, I'm recording, doing session with 4 different age groups. I'm doing 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock in the morning. I recharge all the batteries, all the camera equipment, and then doing it again at 4 o'clock. And then that's like 3 hours of footage, right? Now it takes me like 7-8 hours just to edit it. And then, so that's been going on for the past 6 months, I guess. But I've been talking about this app for like 5 years. So I'm glad that I finally got a chance to do this. So that's what I'm trying to do. I still love playing. I still love, I still feel sharp. I still feel good. But I'm starting to see that this is maybe my calling. So.
All right. Willing to convert to futsal?
Yeah, I mean, I'm open for anything. Like, some guy was talking about Pakistan. I was like, yeah, man, I've been there. I'll play there. Or some guy was talking about Africa. I was like, yes, Africa. I haven't played there yet. So, I mean, I had a game against South Africa. So it kind of counts. Canada versus South Africa before the World Cup. We lost 2-1. I missed the diving header. Hate myself for that. Could have changed my life. But yeah, Africa. I would love to play there. But so yeah,
no plans on doing pundit.
Sorry.
No plans on doing punditry programs. Did you get offers like in Canada to do it?
No. I mean, it's the guys that I played with, like Terry Youngfield. All these guys are doing the commentary. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but I think being creative and actually creating content and I mean, if anybody that follows me on Instagram can see the kind of lifestyle that I have. Everything is, I try to do epic stuff and trying to not just take a selfie in a car like some people do, which I despise, stupid selfies like that. But so I'm getting a few pictures of these selfies. I'm like, no, man, like, what's the story behind that selfie? Come on, man, tell me a story with a picture. It's 1,000 words.
So
I'll play with
rather,
it.
so if you're going to go on TV, rather than doing some commentary or reviews, you would rather have your own show. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, nobody's really approached me anything. You know, you can reach me through all the social media, whatever. I respond to absolutely everybody. So if anybody had any sort of idea, I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds interesting. Let's do it, right? There's a
Okay.
couple coaching gigs that popped up, but I'm not quite. I don't want to just kind of coach 20, 30 players. I'd rather be able to share my experience with, well, you know, with so many young players. And I'd rather do that.
Hence that.
And it's not just saying me as a player, but it's also the players that I got to play with and their stories and their experience. I want to share that connection. And that's why I think this app is a calling. And yes, it will be hopefully by the end of the year, it'll be out there. That's my goal. I'm super busy trying to make that happen. At the same time, I'm training every single day and I'm ready for anything. Like, he still says, let's play. So,
Okay. All right, man.
that's where I'm at.
Thanks a lot. We've now reached the end of the show. So hopefully I'll call you back. You know, if there's any relevant topics that we could talk about with you. But then again, with you, we can talk about anything under the sun. So
Yeah, man, really. I mean,
I'll give you-
let's talk about that shelf behind you, man. Come on. Think about the background.
This is a makeshift. This is a makeshift. You know, you're actually talking to me in my living room. Ever since the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
No one's coming to the living room. We're not getting any guests. So what I did, because my company now we're working from home, so I brought all the
Yeah.
files and all the books, my reference all behind me. So you know, so it's
Yeah,
kind of
we could do that. Yeah.
a mess at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll put up art next time. You know, I think you would
Yes,
appreciate
please.
that.
Reach out, man.
Yeah, I
Reach
have a
out.
few.
Let me
Yeah,
show those more.
not yours, none of yours, but
No.
can't afford your art. But you know, I'll put some maybe in the next show. Okay, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much to the listeners. Thank you for listening to our extended version of Between Two Halves. My name is Yunus from Bahas Bola. Our featured guests over left or right. Right, it's
Thank
Issey
you.
Nakajima, former footballer for Pahang, Terengganu, Pacific FC, and a lot. The list goes on and on. We're going to have another program next week, Saturday. We're going to
Oh,
move back to 10
next week.
p.m. Next week. We're going to back to 10 p.m. The featured guest is someone else, not Issey. Right? But if there's anything that is relevant to Issey, we'll definitely bring him back. He's such a fun person to have on board. Thank you again. Thank you, Issey, and thank you to all our viewers. Issey, it's what? It's midnight there.
Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock
Isn't
at night. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. All right, man. So get some rest, get some sleep. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, man. Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Man like candy in the summer. Don't act like a bummer. Got him moving through the nighttime. And she sour like a ripe lime. And she mighty fine, so let's move it. And we get it two-stepping like we three-footed. Got me feeling like I'm in my new prime. Let's get it all right, all right. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun. Have some fun. Have some fun tonight. So let's move it. Think it pleasant like a venom. Got me rocking our denim. Got her moving through the nighttime. Like it's the only one we gonna find. Since she mighty fine, so let's move it. And just wanna have some fun, I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun, I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just wanna have some fun, I wanna have some fun tonight, yeah. I just